Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're exploring why humans cannot survive alone, a look at Isharatul Ijaz. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. The text we're looking at today brings up a really simple point that completely unravels how we think about our own existence. Just think about a bird for a second, right? A bird is born and boom, in practically no time at all, it just knows how to fly, how to forage, and how to weave this intricate little nest. For most of the animal kingdom, survival is just hardwired instinct right from day one. But us, humans, totally different story. We are born incredibly vulnerable. I mean, it takes us years just to figure out how to walk and talk, let alone actually survive on our own. So, unlike that bird, staying alive for us means going through this massive, exhausting process of continuous learning. We definitely don't just wake up knowing how to build a house or find food. We have to constantly ask for help. We spend decades, literally decades, learning trades, going to school, and leaning heavily on the physical labor of everyone else around us. And the wild thing is, this isn't just some childhood phase we grow out of. It is a permanent condition. We are structurally designed to need other people just to get through a normal Tuesday. But it actually goes way deeper than just basic survival. Humans have this entirely unique makeup compared to the rest of nature. We've got these incredibly high capabilities, and with those come some seriously complex desires. We are never just satisfied with merely existing. We actively hunt down the most beautiful things. We want what's curated, what's selected. Deep down in our core, we crave a life that feels honorable and truly fitting for our humanity. Now, what's really interesting about these desires is how they play out in reality. Because let's be honest, it's not enough for us to just be full, right? We demand that our food actually tastes delicious. It's not enough to just throw a sack over our shoulders to beat the cold. We want our clothes to be fashionable and beautiful. We don't just want a dry cave to sleep in. We want our homes to be organized, aesthetic, and cozy. Our desires are absolutely massive. But and here is the catch, we are entirely, completely incapable of fulfilling all these sophisticated wants on our own. No way we could pull that off individually. And because there's this massive gap between what we want and what we can actually do by ourselves, the text defines humans as inherently civilized or social by nature. And by that, it doesn't mean we just love a good dinner party. It means that living in cooperative groups is a fundamental, structural requirement of our species. Our complex needs practically dictate that we cannot live in isolation. We are absolutely forced by our own internal nature to divide up the labor, share the workload, and live interdependently. Let's bring this down to earth for a second. Think about something super simple, a loaf of bread. To get just one single slice of bread onto your kitchen table, you really can't do it alone. I mean, first you need the farmer who spends months growing and harvesting the wheat. Then you need the miller who takes that wheat and grinds it down into usable flour. Then you need the baker to use their specific expertise to bake it to perfection. It's only after all of that shared, layered labor that you can finally sit down and make a sandwich. And this invisible web of human labor, it extends to literally everything we touch. Getting dressed in the morning isn't just you putting on a shirt. That shirt relies on tailors, global textile production, and hundreds of years of art and design. Even the invisible stuff, like the knowledge floating around in your head right now, didn't come out of nowhere. It relies on a massive network of teachers, authors, and the whole institution of schooling. We are constantly being held up by the hands of countless other people. Which brings us to the number one takeaway from this entire philosophy. We must never, ever view ourselves as absolutely self-sufficient. Actually, scratch that. It's a complete illusion to think we make it through life solely on our own merits. Every single day, our survival, our basic comfort is sustained by the unseen labor of so many others. Realizing that is step one to genuinely understanding our place in the world. But here is where things take a really crucial turn. So we're forced to live together to survive, right? But what happens when you cram all these highly desiring, incredibly needy humans together into one society? Well, the text suggests that if a society is just left completely unchecked, it naturally breeds selfishness, injustice, and conflict. Everyone's just grasping to fulfill their own complex needs. So how on earth do we fix that? The proposed solution here is spiritual balance. The argument is that worship and God consciousness are absolutely essential because they inject a deep internal sense of responsibility straight into the human heart. It regulates how we treat all those people we so desperately rely on. It completely shifts our mindset. When that spiritual balance really takes root, you stop solely asking the selfish question, what do I want right now? Instead, your internal compass sort of forces you to ask, wait, does this behavior infringe on someone else's rights? It takes a selfish consumer and transforms them into a conscientious, responsible community member. It is the ultimate internal regulator, something no police force or law could ever fully replicate. And listen, this isn't just some dusty, ancient theory. This explainer is incredibly relevant today. Think about your own day. Every time you're stuck in heavy traffic, every time you fire off a comment on social media, or walk the halls at school, or even just send a quick text message to your family, you are interacting with others. You are constantly in a relationship with the very people whose labor and existence you rely on. That spiritual accountability, that's what safely and fairly regulates all these messy, modern, everyday interactions. So I want to pause for a second and issue a direct challenge to you based on all of this. Let's do a little exercise. Pick an item you're using right this second. It could be the phone or laptop you're using to watch this explainer, maybe a notebook on your desk, your shoes, or even your cup of coffee. Look at it. Now actively trace the massive chain of human labor behind it in your mind. Think of the miners, the engineers, the truck drivers, the factory workers, the whole shebang. Once you've pictured that huge invisible web of human effort that perfectly placed that object right into your hands, I want you to take a specific action. Formulate one sentence of genuine gratitude. Turn this whole realization from just passive knowledge into an active practice of thankfulness. Acknowledge all that immense human effort that constantly props up your daily life. So the crucial point is this. This text completely flips our understanding of human vulnerability upside down. Our inability to survive alone, our physical limitations, our constant need for help, they aren't weaknesses at all, not even close. Instead, they're this brilliant, deliberate design. They act as a mandatory invitation to coexist, to build communities, share the load, and ultimately, to develop a really profound moral responsibility toward one another. We are literally built to need each other so that we are forced to care for each other. And honestly, really grasping that web of dependency leaves us with one powerful, lingering question to chew on as you go about the rest of your day. Since your life is entirely upheld by the unseen labor and presence of so many others, whose rights should you be more careful about today?